This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
So, Dave, I have an arm update for you.
An arm update.
An arm update.
You know, most people don't have arm updates, but sure. So what is your arm update?
I'm walking around with half an arm, for the last 4 months now.
And you're pretty much not letting anybody forget it either.
Hey, you should try it sometime. It's not so fun. And I went to the doctor yesterday. They checked it out. They said I have 60% usage of my left arm now, which is pretty good.
So still you can't mow the lawn, obviously.
Well, I can't, no. There's so many things I can't do. I really can't lift more than like 4 pounds with this left arm. But I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm sure you can commiserate with this, I feel like I'm not living up to what we need to have on this show in terms of my appearance. I've got bedhead, and remember how bedhead, you wake up and the hair just kind of doesn't sit perfectly.
Where's this going? And, let's cut to the chase.
Yeah,
where's this going?
I'm just saying that I've got bedhead, and that is my little way of snapping back at you
for the arm
ripping of the arm. Which is a very serious thing that I'm going through right now. And I don't appreciate you besmirching me.
I remember, especially in college, you'd wake up. We would wake up at, I don't know, 10:53 for an 11 o'clock class, right? And and your hair's all over the place, and you put on a baseball cap, you know. And I remember always being, aggravated that I had to do that. It's like, God, I wish I didn't have all this hair. And there you go. So your kids out there, karma.
Yeah.
Hair karma is something that
it's a real thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy about your arm.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
All right, tell the truth.
First of all, when you hear the music start, that's when you stop.
Okay. That's kind of like our radio days.
Yeah, it is.
I was talking over what is it? I was hitting the bridge, right? Or is that what it's called?
Not hitting the post.
Post. So, is your family attending these appointments with your doctor?
No.
So you could pretty much tell them whatever you want to tell them. You could lie.
Well,
right?
And say what? That
you're never going to be 100%, so you never have to do things around the house, right? Can't you just flop out the 72%, honey? I have to be 75 in order to...
2%.
Right, I can empty the dishwasher.
I better go out and have a cigar.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It'll help me.
Right, I'm going to have to figure out these 3% so I can help you fold laundry.
Fill this beer, because if it's 4 more ounces, then I can lift it.
Yeah, so, I mean, you are planning on milking this forever.
Have we just met?
Yeah. Okay. Good for you.
All right.
Hey, we got a big show. I got some stuff going on here, and I'm busy. And let's get going on this. This comes out of Italy.
All right. Headline:
Gang of alleged armed robbers in their 60s and their 70s arrested in Italy.
Good for them.
Exactly. This is a win for our side.
Good for them.
A gang of 6 alleged robbers in their 60s and 70s, known in Rome's criminal underworld for their tenacity, because that's what us people have, is tenacity, carrying out a series of armed burglaries at post offices in the city. Now, I've been to a lot of post offices. I don't know if the post offices in Italy are any different. How many regional boxes how many empty boxes? I don't know what they're stealing in the post office, but whatever. Yeah. Okay. The gang's leaders were 2. There's 2 leaders. A 70-year-old by the name of Italio DeWitt, who's nicknamed the German.
Oh.
Okay. He became renowned in the mid-1990s after a sophisticated heist of a bank, which was done very efficiently and punctually. And the second leader was a 75-year-old Sicilian nicknamed Bifocals, who is the lookout guy. I'm not making this up.
Is that his real name?
Bifocals was the look. Hey, anybody see my glasses? It's on your head. Bifocals. A 60.
Shut up, dribble puss.
Yeah. A 68-year-old accomplice accomplice was allegedly the main person responsible for carrying out the robberies, while a 66-year-old was tasked with obtaining replicas of the Bacter. This is an enterprise.
It's fantastic.
They are giving jobs to. There's no ageism here.
And the other thing is, that's just years of wisdom. I mean, look at they're planning this out.
Well, and these two leaders, they employed two masons in their early 50s. We call them young interns in the biz, right? To drill holes in the walls because, at that age, it's hard to hold the drill, as you know, with your 42%. Right. According to La Repubblica, which I think is the newspaper, another planned robbery was canceled because a 66-year-old gang member was having incontinence issues and needed an operation on his.
No, that's not funny.
On his prostate. I'm not making this. It's on the internet. It's not making it there. The alleged robbers were reported to be old acquaintances. Yeah. Okay, that's the person who wrote this article. I think is digging at our people a little bit of the police and the Italian, underworld. Now this is where the story gets pretty infuriating. Okay. Italy's Capo della Polizia. I don't speak Italian, but I think that means captain of police.
Yep.
Vittorio Pisani said in a news conference announcing the arrests that he would make sure that the robbers would be fed dinner promptly at 5 and murder she wrote videos would be shown in prison. I don't think that's very nice. Yeah.
I didn't really say that.
No, I didn't know that. No mention of butterscotch candies or how hot they're keeping the cells.
Matlock.
I went with Murder, She Wrote, but I guess Matlock.
Always been a Matlock guy. Right. Andy Griffith.
So, kudos.
Okay.
Ageism, not it. Good for you guys.
Yeah, right. I applaud your go-getter spirit.
Tenacity is what we call it in the biz.
Yeah, you cannot slow an old man down. That's the way I look at it. I've got a story for you. This one is a Jenkins.
When you're on the job and you're not doing it right. Jenkins! Time now for Dave to share stories of employee screw-ups. Jenkins! It could only be Jenkins! Jenkins with Rick and Dave. Jenkins!
Now the jingle says it has to be Dave, but I'm gonna call an audible here, and I'm gonna take over. This is a story that goes. This is an Oregon story. A nightly KGW TV program accidentally aired a racist image Thursday during a live program that broadcast photographs submitted by the public on social media.
Was this one of their 50-year-old interns that perhaps did this?
The news station apologized on Friday. The vile image appeared during the end of the Good Stuff Weekly's Throwback Thursday, where people share a photo from your past that makes you smile. Well, the anchors Tim Gordon said, "We're going to leave you with a few more of our wonderful throwback photos." And they went to
drive carefully out there.
One of them was a black and white photo taken years ago that shows children at a fair or an amusement park throwing balls towards a placard that displays a racist slur, and it's the racist slur.
It's the mother of all racist slurs.
And depictions of black people. They were throwing balls at black faces with that word on it. That was... and it was the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts in the 1950s that were doing this.
Wow. Where in Oregon?
This is in Oregon. Now, I was in the Boy Scouts in the 50s or in the 70s, and it wasn't really much different. Remember, you know what?
You were Germany. That was the Hitler Youth you're talking about.
It wasn't far off. You know what a dog pile is?
Yeah, it's when I know, and we.
You know what we
called it something different.
Yes.
Yes.
And this was like common terminology when we were kids. That's how old we are, ladies and gentlemen. But the guy that was our scoutmaster in Germany was from Mississippi.
Okay.
And he said it with...
Well, hold on. Mississippi German Cub Scouts. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was on an army base. It was on a... But still, the point is, he was using that word just openly, regularly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Greg Restina from KGW TV issued a statement saying, despite our rigorous policy of thoroughly screening all content for standards and accuracy before broadcast, we acknowledge our failure to uphold our standards in this instance.
It'll never happen again. It was, you remember WGN, right?
Yes.
When
they had that whole Holocaust thing.
Yeah, when the Holocaust, that Holocaust thing. When there was like Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah,
right?
And it was we wishing our Jewish friends, and they found the image of the yellow star with Yudah on it, and that was the image that they ended up using for wishing. Yeah.
Well, to me, this is a shocking story, but you know what's the most shocking part of this story? It's in Oregon, not Florida.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'm
concerned. What is? Well, I'm sure there was a transplant. Well, the person who sent the or the video or the
photograph.
Yeah, we don't know where they were from.
Yeah, that's true. Could have been Ron DeSantis.
Hey, we got a review.
All right.
Rick and Dave have their fingers on the pulse of the absurd.
Oh,
isn't that kind of? That's kind of.
I think so.
Fun.
Yes.
That was left by Hopping Happy.
Okay, thank you, Hopping
Happy. On Podbean.
All right, it's time for another feature. We call this one Studio Walls.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls. Rick and Dave.
So this is the part of the show where we dip into the Rick and Dave archives. Last week, we got treated to a Dave Stern poem from 1974. Mm-hmm. This week, it's somebody else's birthday. Remember Haley Arancia?
Oh, yeah, from the Goldbergs.
Yeah.
She was great.
She was great. She played Erica on the Goldbergs and is a singer also. And recently, I think last year or the year before, was one of the Masked Singers.
Oh, on the
remember that?
Yeah, okay.
And one of the things we talked to her about many things. If you want to check it out, I'll tell you what episode it is after we listen to this. But one of the things we talked about was The Masked Singer, which I told her sounded like a pretty weird show to be on.
You're not wrong. I had seen commercials of this show, and I thought, what a silly thing. Like, why are people doing that? And then I started getting tweets of people guessing that I was people in previous seasons to the one I'd been on, thinking it was me. And I'm like, oh, there must be something to this show. And then my parents started watching, and then I was like, oh, I get why this is addicting, like trying to figure out the mystery of it. And then I was able to somehow, get my way on the show, which was incredible because music's like my first love. And getting to do that on a platform at that scale was wild and terrifying, especially when I'm doing it like in a mask and this heavy costume. And, it's already hard enough to sing some of the songs I was singing just without all of that. So it was a physical challenge for me as a singer performer. But it's a memory I will always have and cherish because it was, it's what I love to do.
What was the costume? Cool. What was the costume you were wearing?
My character was the ringmaster, and it essentially was like a cat head in like a circus tent.
Yeah.
Like my skirt was like 7 or 8 feet wide, and it was meant to look like a circus tent. And then I had like that sort of ringmaster coat on top and a really tall top hat. I will say, of many costumes on the show, I think it is one of the prettiest. And so I was very glad that I got that one.
Well, you weren't on the same season as Rudy Giuliani, were you?
I hate to tell you I was.
Oh, my God.
What's he like?
I didn't actually get to meet him. So they break it down into sections of like 5 each, and he was on a different like week they were recording, like group, I guess. But I just remember that his week had shot prior to my week, and there was a lot of news drama that had come out. Like they weren't supposed to be outing who was on the show already because the season hasn't aired yet. But it was definitely upsetting to a lot of people, I guess. And I'm like, are they even going to finish the season? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen, but it was fine. And I had a blast actually doing the show.
There she is. Yeah. Haley. The interview is number 133, Minutia Men's Celebrity Interview. Most of the conversation was about the Goldbergs. So I wanted to find a clip that we could play from her interview that was not about the Goldbergs, because that's like an 18-minute hunk. And, we got a whole other show.
Hey, I got a story, another outside of America's borders.
Oh, okay.
This comes from England.
Let's hear it.
We're very, so what, we've had an Italy story. Yep. What was your story? Or Oregon. Well, that sounds like could be a different country. Yeah. This comes out of England. British gallery offers penis amnesty. Oh, You didn't do the jingle.
Oh, well, here we go.
Do it.
Penises in the news.
Rick and Dave.
British gallery offers penis amnesty as it searches for a statue's pilfered pecker.
How many pilfered peckers?
There's
Right.
Some people might have been taken aback to receive a cookie tin full of penises in the mail. Not Dale Wells. It's exactly the sort of package the British artist and gallery owner was hoping to get when he offered penis amnesty to anyone who returns the several penises that have been snatched off a statue of his town's mythological founder. Okay. A handwritten note scrawled on a printed newspaper article about the missing members included in the package reads, "Pick these up after cleaning granddad's house. Think they are what you're looking for." But the statue that Mr. Wells was looking for the penis was fiberglass, and these were clay. So no match. Okay. So basically what this is Wells is the co-owner of the Turntable Gallery in Grimsby, England. And there is a statue outside of this gallery, which was created by, I don't know, some Douglas Wayne Hobson, that depicts the Grim and Havelock, which are characters from 13th century Middle English literature, and is part of the Grimsby lore. Okay. And evidently the hooligans like to play a little shenanigans with this statue, and they keep
yanking it.
Yanking the wank. Yeah. So it has been a target of vandals since it was first erected outside the Academy in 1970s. Wells estimates that that the penis has been stolen over 42 times.
Wow.
So you would think after 40, why are we even replacing the penis, right? Last week, like I said, a mystery box but they were not the right phalluses.
Okay.
Here's a little bit of trivia for you.
Penis trivia?
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is you're going to
Don't say little penis trivia.
No, because it is about little penises.
Okay.
And this is going to make you long for the days of yesteryear. Okay. Have you ever noticed why ancient, like Greek statues and ancient statues always have men with small penises? You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think?
I don't know.
Well, back in the old days, small penises were considered to be more manly than larger penises.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Is this for real?
Yeah, it is. So,
time to get a time machine.
Well, I've got Sherman and Peabody in the next room, and we're going to go back we're going to take the Wayback Machine to, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, like 3000 BC, somewhere around there. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been
Penises in the news.
Rick and Dave.
All right, I have a story for you that's of historic nature. All right, and this kind of ties into your poem from last week.
We're not doing the poem again.
Abraham Lincoln pardoned President Biden's great-great-grandfather after a late-night Civil War era brawl. Documents reportedly show, linking two presidents across the centuries. This is a true story. The court-martial records in the U.S. National Archives, reported on by the Washington Post on Monday, detail the trial of Moses J. Robinette, which was the great-great-grandfather of President Biden. After a fight with fellow Union Army civilian employee John J. Alexander on March 21st, 1864, Robinette was charged with attempted murder after the tussle in the Army of the Potomac's winter camp in Virginia. When Alexander overheard him saying something about him to a cook, he rushed at him. The two men scuffled. Robinette drew his pocket knife, leaving Alexander with several cuts before others intervened, according to the documents. Now, military judges convicted him and sentenced him to 2 years of hard labor. Now, this is where Abraham Lincoln comes in. 3 Army officers petitioned Lincoln to overturn his conviction, claiming the sentence was unduly harsh and that Robinette had been defending himself against someone with much superior in strength and size. And Lincoln agreed, and he signed the pardon on September 1st that same year. Now, in honor of President's Day earlier this week and the President's poem by David Stern in last week's show, I'd like to recite to you now my President's Day poem about this story.
Okay. Just real quick, how was Burmesa involved in this?
Burisma,
yeah. Of Ukraine. Oh, how's this?
Music, same music.
Okay, I was going to say, please don't be doing my poem again.
Grandpa Moses, he was called. One day, Grandpa Moses brawled. Back in 1864, during the American Civil War, he was taunted by another man, surely not a Moses fan. Moses pulled out his pocket knife and almost took that Yankee's life. But Abraham Lincoln's pardon forgave the great-great-grandpa of the president today. Okay. Rick Kempford, 2024.
Okay, do you remember what happened with George Harrison and the Dulang Dulang song? Or the My Sweet Lord? You know how how he got nabbed for plagiarism? I changed the words a little. Yeah. Lawsuits coming your way here.
Okay, you say so. That one's available for purchase if anybody wants to buy it. It's called Grandpa Moses, he was called.
Okay. Yeah. They say that emulation is the greatest form of, or imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah, I don't think you like that poem. I think you're a little touchy.
I don't. It's being typed. I have so much more content that I've created over the years. It's hard to have your greatest moment from 1977. Okay. Or 74. 74.
All right, it's time for another feature.
A random name pulled out of Rick's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
And surely not a Grandpa Moses fan.
You're just mocking.
Yes,
with your 42.
Oh, I was mocking the whole time.
With your 58% arm, you are mocking right now.
I was mocking the whole time. This is from Sam. Sam sends us an email. My brush with greatness isn't really mine.
Okay.
It's my mom's. When she was in college in the 1960s, she dated a guy named Richard Hammer, who unfortunately went by Dick.
Okay.
Dick Hammer.
Okay.
You probably don't know him from his name, but you'd recognize him if you saw him. For many years, he was the Marlboro Man.
Oh.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about him until Mom went to his funeral in 1999.
For lung cancer.
Yes, he died of lung cancer.
Yeah.
That is Sam. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. You know, if you check out Minutia Man Celebrity Interview, we've got an interview up there right now. You know who it is?
Give me a hint.
It's a microburst, Dave.
Oh, has that been posted this morning?
I think that'll be the next one that is posted. So it's
Tom Skilling.
Tom Skilling.
Yes, microburst.
So Channel 9 weathercaster Tom Skilling was on the show
for 54 years or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
some
he
ridiculous.
moved here in 1978.
Okay,
so he was an institution here in Chicago, and he's retiring at the end of February, and that is going to be our next interview for Minutia Men Celebrity Interview. All right, we have people to thank for this show. We need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasana, with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards. We need to thank Ed Silla, Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. That's radiomisfits.com.
I want to thank you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you, too.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, and I'm surely a Dave Stern fan. And we will be back again, right? Aren't we coming back here again next week for another?
Do you have another European vacation? That's June.
Yeah, not till June.
Yeah.
We'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of
Minutia Men.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at radiomisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?